Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I am filming the third part in series I have completed / finished. So I'm still catching up on the old days, this is like last year, until I'm like in present day, and then I will post these as I finish 10 to 15 series, currently doing 15 because I'm catching up. Might do 10 in the future, else you will never get these. Generally, I'm a really bad person at finishing series. I tend to like read the first book and then wait ages. Before I was really good at just like reading through the whole series at once, but lately by the last few years I had just been reading the first one, maybe pick up the second one and then perhaps the third one with years in between. So yay, gonna show you the series and then talk a bit about my thoughts and experience with them, because that's why we're here. Great. The first one here is Shades of Magic by V. Schwab. This one is a really known fantasy series, and it's very much a series I like to recommend to people who want to get into fantasy, because it's very basic. Not basic in the way that it's bad, but very like basic in the fantasy parts of it, so it's not too complex, and it's very a fun series to start with, to start out in the adult fantasy genre. I recommend it to a lot of people who wants to go over to adult, and I have bought it for so many people. So yay, we have 3 books in the series. A sequel series, Threads of Power, is coming, so like that is its own series, so I don't count that in this one. And I always really like the covers of these, and I have so many editions of this one. I think I have like 5 editions, soon 6 maybe. I can't even count, maybe 5, I don't even know. And yay, they have so many different pretty editions and I cannot deal. So yay, this is one of the series I have the most editions of. And the thing is that I have actually read the first book twice, because I decided to continue the series years later and I just wanted to reread the first book. And I think that I enjoyed them all, and I gave them all 4 stars. The first one 5 the first time I read it, and a 4 the next time. So like, why I say is one of my faves. I actually never gave any of them 5 stars, and while it's super enjoyable and I love the concept and the characters, I just think that it didn't never blow my mind completely. It would never like, oh my god, the most amazing original thing. Like for example, when I have read Brandon Sanderson, who always has this super intense plot twist that you can never see coming. Here it goes pretty much in a straight line. Not that there's no twists and turns, but it's more like just magical and fun and simpler in a way. Not simple as in a bad way, but just simpler. And I like how it is, and it's fun, fight for the world and different things. Did I even say what it's about? It follows a world where there's 4 different Londons. Red London, that has magic. Grey London, that doesn't, that is like our world. And White London, where like magic is killing each other, like they are fighting hard for magic. And Black London, that disappeared and got killed basically by magic. And then we follow Callum, who can travel between these Londons, and Lila, who is from Grey London and basically wants more adventure in her life. So yay, and they meet, and yay, like yay. And then there is, why am I saying yay so many times? There's just like full of magic and fun times in this series. I don't know what to tell you. So it was great. I love the magic in here and the world. I just felt like the plot could be more for me, but I love Vishwa, one of my favorite authors, and have so many, as I said, editions of this book. These are heavy though. Whew, should have taken the paperbacks. We then have Shadow and Bone by Lee Bardugo, which I finally finished. It was called the Celia Trilogy, and then it changed name to the Shadow and Bone Trilogy. I like these editions, and then I didn't realize that they were in hardcover, even though these are the UK editions that I do really like the size of. I didn't realize that these covers had hardcovers, and I'm so sad I didn't buy them. Either way, not on the subject at all. This is one of the typical YA series following Alina, who finds out that she has some powers that can fight in this rift thing that is in their land, because we're Afghan is civil war, and like they have the rift in between that like was made by this evil dude, and then she has some powers. Yay, I don't even know what to tell you. It's very generic, very typical YA. However, I do really like Liberty's writing. I do like the world she created here. But I don't think these are the strongest book, but it does give groundwork for later books that she writes. Netflix show is coming, and I'm planning to reread the whole series. I did reread Shadow and Bone earlier this year, and I'm planning to read Seeds and Storm and Rune Rising later. And Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, soon to be here. And I don't know what to tell you. Like, I know that people make fun of this series because it's so typical, hilarious in a way, because it has all these typical traits. But at the same time, when I reread it, I still enjoyed it so much. I find so much originality in it, even though some things are, yes, ridiculous, and I just still enjoy it, and I think it's a very fun and enjoyable series, even though, yes, as I said, it's typical. Being typical is not always a bad thing, but I can see that not working for people who are looking for like original bam bam things, but like it works for me and I enjoy it a lot, and I can see why it's so beloved. It is precious, the world is precious, and the characters are kind of precious, but also some are annoying. I don't know what to tell you. The Darker Side of Magic in this one, even though they're quite recently, I guess, since I finished them, 2018, they still impacted me a lot, and like I enjoyed them a lot, both of them. And yay, some of these later you will see me not impacting me that much at all. Maybe like this one. I have The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han, and also the Summer Trilogy. I don't even know what the official name of the series is. And I have these really cute covers. They had like ugly covers and then they became cute. I read this before I wanted to read To All the Boys, because I just wanted to read her first work first, because I had this thing in my head that I had to do it. And they were fun. Question mark. They follow, what's her name even? Isabel. It follows Isabel, who one summer turns pretty, I guess, and there's these two boys. They always go into the summer house together, and Conrad and Germina, and then she has always loved Conrad, and then like Germina maybe is more the nice boy, and then Conrad is like the bad boy. It's very, again, typical old YA thing where like one is bad, one is nice, triangle drama thing. That's where all our tropes came from. That's how the genre grew to what it is today. It's great to think back in the past. Either way, like, I enjoy this. I don't see why they were so popular. I feel like the story was very simplistic, and like how the boy drama didn't really actually like any of the boys. I never shipped anyone, I never cared for anything. I think it had this deep thing between friendship and just like how they dealt with their mother being sick and stuff, a different sibling relationship, and yeah, but like the boy drama, I was just like meh. I think it's just this sweet story, very much summery. Really recommend reading it in the summer. It's very quick, fun reads, but it ain't that deep and it ain't that good. Just saying, it was just like fine. I think I gave them all 3 stars. The last one was crazy though. Then they decided to do some weird shit. I was not in for that. But other than that, I had a fun time, I guess. That's why I always have such a hard time loving completely contemporaries, because I feel like they never impact me in a way I guess that fantasy does. There's a few that has, that really stuck to me, but sometimes they're just too simple and fluffy for me, I guess, and I feel like it doesn't have any concrete texture for me to like chew in on. I can't explain it. It's not deep enough. I don't even know. What am I saying? Let's go to the next one. Oh my god. The next one though, it's Fifth Wave. I had actually the sequels for ages before I read this. I think I read this so many years ago, and then I read these in 2018 because I was finishing up series and I had them for ages. First of all, I have ugly editions of these, and that bothers me until the end of time, but at least they all match together. Most important. I read the first book, and when it was like super popular, it is YA dystopia, and there's like different waves where like humanity get killed in different waves. I don't even remember the different one. Poison, disease, different things. And then there are the survivors left. And we follow Cassie, who is one of the survivors. And then we try to unravel like what's in behind, because her brother gets taken and she wants him back. And that's the first book, and it's fine. Like there's a lot of plot twists, finding out what really happened and why, and I like to find out those things where like dystopia-ish. And then the second book happened, and I don't know why the second one exists, because literally nothing happened. I don't want to die. And then the end here, just like I'm choking on myself. It was so annoying and stupid, and I just didn't like it. I don't mind the things that happen, it's just like explanation for things, and other things in this was just weird. It turned out weird. I think the idea that Oliver had was good, but he couldn't measure up to what he wanted to create. That's what I feel like. And in the end, I want to forget I ever read this. So that was disappointing, and that's all. Does this even count as a series? We count duologies as series, right? Well, I hope so. Either way, we have 1,000 Nights. So we have 1,000 Nights and Kingdom of Sleep. So this one is based on 1,001 Nights, and this one is based on Sleeping Beauty. I'm like really questioning myself. Yes, spin the story, unravel the curse, makes sense. This one is actually set 100 or 200 or 300, one of those, years later after this one. So like they belong together in the same world, but like they don't follow the same characters. So I feel like now it's ages since I read this. My brain is like, what even happened? But I just remember I really enjoyed it, and I was really surprised of how much I enjoyed it. She gets taken to be a wife, etc., just like 1,001 Nights. This one I didn't enjoy as much, but I still think the world is beautiful and writing was beautiful, and it's really interesting to see how the author chose to develop the story. I think, by the way, one of them has a different title in the American edition. These are the UK editions, just telling you. And overall, like, I really enjoyed that. I feel like no one is talking about that. I found this really beautiful and enjoyed it a lot. Actually, ironically, A Wrath and Dawn is also based on 1,001 Nights, and a lot of people read that and enjoyed it, but I enjoyed this much more, and I'm saying ironically because it will be here in a second. And overall, a fun duology. I still kind of serious, even though they didn't follow the same characters, right? But they're still like under the same series on Goodreads. I'm counting it, and I enjoyed them both, and I feel like I should recommend them more on my channel, but I keep forgetting that I have read it. Does other people have this problem? Yay. And now, like, I felt like rereading because now I don't remember anything. What happened with my brain cells? They all died. They died after I talked about the 5th wave. Oh my god, we have Snow Like Ashes. What is happening? By Sarah Rush. It's serious, man. This is all very typical YA. Just saying. This one follows, what is even her name? Mira. This is set in a world where every kingdom, its own season, summer, winter, spring, autumn, and then also other kingdoms that are like not seasonal kingdoms. And then spring decided to be bitches and like took winter, and like winter's taken, and there's like a few rebels left, and Mira is one of them. And then like we follow them wanting to reclaim the kingdom and stuff. So that is the first book, and then these rest happened, but I will pretend not. Like, this is so typical YA that I could scream in my pants. It could work, like I like the ideas in it, but like some of the plot twists and stuff was just like, why? This one, I don't even know why it existed. I don't know what's with like a bit older YA books that like middle books sucked ass. I don't know why. And then the third one had this super annoying conclusion. I hate that kind of conclusion in fantasy where they have to do a certain thing that you know they won't do, and I'm surprised they don't do it. It's so annoying. It happened in this one, happened in other things like Throne of Glass, for example, and I just don't like that. It's not even a plot twist because you always know they're not gonna do it. I guess it's supposed to be this sacrifice. It's supposed to have consequences, but can author find other ways to do consequences than that one thing that keeps being used over and over? It's one of my most hated tropes. I'm not gonna spoil it here, but maybe whenever I make a video where tropes I hate, it will be there. And yay, I have forgotten I read this, and I like the idea of like summer, winter, spring thing. Stole it from my book, joking. But that's the only thing I liked, because I can't remember anything else apparently. I actually read her other book though, These Rebel Waves, and I enjoyed that much more. Need to read the other book in that duology. So just saying, like, author's first work, it's fine, and like later you can enjoy others. I just feel like that's why I always start on the beginning ones, so that it will get better instead of starting on the best one and then go down, because then you can feel much more disappointed in a different way. That's the way I roll. Like with Jenny Han, I started on the first ones too. Yay! We then have the Villains duology that I say I finished. However, the registrar did hint that maybe one day will be a third book, but for right now, I have finished the duology because this nothing has been announced in ages. It just came out like many years ago, and it just came out like almost 10 years later. I don't even remember. It was a long way to wait, and I have read this long before this was announced, and like I love this. This is my favorite registrar book, this one. And then I reread it before reading the sequel, and while I did really enjoy it, I think that registrar was an amazing writer. I didn't think that this was as good as this one. This one 5 stars all the way though. It follows villains. It follows these people, Victor and Eli, finding out that you can get superpowers, and they're basically crazy villains. They want to kill each other very badly, and it is a great story. I don't know, I really like how we follow villains and how like it is fun to follow them, and that Eli thinks he is a hero. It's totally different time periods, jumping back and forth, and I think it's done really well in this one. Again, I did like it, but I didn't think it was as strong and well developed as this one. But yeah, one of my faves, and now I want to reread them as I'm talking about them. I tend to like to reread on audiobook, but this one isn't audible. This one is though, and that bothers me because I could listen to this but not this. And yay. But yeah, if it was an audiobook, I think I would reread this, and I would want to in the future. Love this a lot and recommend them a lot. Do notice that most of these I finished in 2018 because I had a challenge that year to finish that and that many series. The next one I have is Ravnringene, or The Raven Rings by Celia Patterson. This is a Norwegian YA fantasy series being translated into English, so do recommend a lot. if you can pick them up. It's based on Northern mythology and it follows Hirka, who has this tail but no one else has tail where she is, and for that she is like shunned and an outsider in where she lives. The story develops a lot after that. That's all I gotta tell you, like a lot. The second book that I read years after the first one, by the way, of course, was so good. This is one of my favorite books actually, like of all time. I did enjoy the first one. The third one I did think had a really good conclusion and final, but like the second book is my fave all the way. The plot twist in this, the craziness of a certain dude in this. I have not felt my heart skipping for a dude in a long time before reading this. So I actually read the third book pretty soon after reading the second book, and then I went and met the author and she signed them all, and she is so nice. And actually a series set in the same world but not following the same characters is coming this October. Cannot wait to read a new trilogy by her. I am getting goosebumps just thinking about it because I'm so excited to read more about this author because she writes so well and she's so nice. Actually got to meet an author that actually wrote one of my favorite books. Is a privilege for me because I mostly read, you know, English and stuff, and it's impossible for me to meet them unless I fly and die. I am so happy, and that makes these books ever more special to me. And yay, I'm excited for when the English versions come out because I'm so excited to scream about them for people to read them because they're so good. And the next duology I finished was Six of Crows. So Duology has said that maybe a third book in the Six of Crows will come in the future, but like from right now it's a duology. I finished the duology, it's fine. She has a long-term plan for the Grishaverse apparently, so she do what she does, and I will say I finished Six of Crows duology for now. Want to reread? Would say like it's the most hyped YA fantasy book in the YA world. Like I don't have words for how much I heard about these books before actually picking them up. More than I think I ever heard about any. Like all of these were high, but at least like this is one of the most known ones, like together high up with other books. So I had high expectations, really high expectations. Were they met? Almost, like 90% were met. I did love them, did enjoy them, love the characters, but I think there was something with the expectations that made me not completely fall in love with the story as much as I seen basically 80% of the rest of the book population that I've seen love it. I gave them both 4 out of 5 stars and not 5 stars, for example. That is the thing, and I did enjoy them and appreciate them a lot. If you think about it, I gave Shadow and Bone, those books 4 stars, and I give these 4 stars. That doesn't mean I can't see the difference of the quality in the story and stuff. I'm just saying that that is an interesting comparison. I did enjoy them. If you don't know what it's about 6 outcasts that is gonna do this big heist. Basically. It's set in the Grisha world with the Grisha powers, and I did enjoy them. Like, they're good, okay? And I feel like I want to reread them after I read Shadow and Bone again because I feel like I want to appreciate the story once again. The art book's really good, characters are precious, and I do stand, like, I do love it. I just feel like I should love it more because the book world has been telling me to. I don't know what more to tell you. You know what it is. We then have the Dark Artifices, I can't say that word actually, and they are in the wrong order, so I need to fix. Oh my god, they are so big. I remember starting out this series in like 2016 when Lady Midnight was released, and I was so excited because like it was like a sequel series, not a prequel series like the Inferno Devices that was out together with Mortal Instruments back then, and I was just like, oh my god. And I didn't like it. I remember I was very disappointed. I felt like the plot was everywhere and the characters were just like okay. And like I liked it, but I think I gave it like 3 out of 5 stars. That was my first impression of Lady Midnight. And I was just like, man, I was very meh towards Mortal Instruments back then, and I'm still kind of like don't love that first series as much. But I was still hyped and I was still all for it. But then Lord of Shadows came. I don't have words. I can't even speak. It is so good. This is probably one of my faves. Chain of Gold is really high on the top, and this one. And I'm looking over to my Cassandra Clare shelf. I like the short story collections and stuff. I love them so much too. So like this one is probably one of my faves. It's so good. It was so big, and I remember reading it like a crazy person, and I just had the greatest time. I like just finished my exams and stuff, and I've just been waiting to start it, and it was just the greatest time. And then of course we had to wait ages for Queen of Air and Darkness. I was screaming about it. It was so late in the mail. I had to wait like almost 2 weeks for it to come in my mail, and I screamed about it every single day when it was not there. That was kind of disappointing. I feel like I had this thing with Cassandra Clare's endings where they're too convenient. I gave it 4, so 5 stars, so I still enjoyed it, saying goodbye to all the characters. Isn't this like almost 1,000 pages long? I just realized. The world is precious. The ends and the consequences in Queen of Air and Darkness will be interesting to see in the future. I ended up really enjoying this series. I think this is so much stronger. The characters are so much stronger in this one than the Mortal Instruments, for example. The characters' interactions, the diversity, oh my god, like that was what ended up me loving the series as much. And I think the plot was fun too. And again, the convenience of the ending. And now I appreciate Lady Midnight more. I feel like this is a Cassandra Clare series I can actually reread compared to like the Mortal Instruments. But like one day I will read it all of Shadowhunter Chronicles. Maybe next year we will see in the order and see how I appreciate the different books then. Now I know what to expect in Lady Midnight. I know how annoying Jace is in the Mortal Instruments, so it will be fine. This is the series in Cassandra Clare. Like I loved Infernal Devices too, of course, but that convinced me how high quality writer she is and how much more excited and how much I actually love the Shadowhunter Chronicles world, like the Shadowhunter world, because like I loved it, but I kind of also hated it. But now I just like, I am in forever. Okay, whatever she writes in the world, I'm in. That's all. These books are enormous. Oh my god. We then have something entirely else. This is the Celia Trilogy by Duology, and the first one is like a collection of short stories that was like released separately, and then he collected them. Second book is like a prequel where you find out before Wool what really happened, and then just is like an actual sequel where everything wraps up together. I think I enjoyed Wool the most, where like you got to know the world and all the fucking stairs. Like it's about bombs that had destroyed the surface of the earth, and they live down in a silo in the earth. And then here you find out like why, and here you found out the conclusion, as I said. Why did I repeat myself? I don't know. Overall though, I don't see the appeal. Again, the middle book was wasted, and the third book just didn't keep any surprises in it. It just, in the end, nothing surprised me anymore. It was very much straightforward, no plot twists and stuff that I enjoyed. So overall, if I was going to recommend a dystopia series, probably wouldn't recommend this one. It was kind of boring and tedious, and I was so tired in the end, but I did at least finish them, so I can say I read them. I don't have more to say than that. I used ages talking about Shadowhunters, so it's fine. I then finished another duology, Wrath and the Dawn. As I mentioned earlier, I actually read Wrath and the Dawn 8 years ago on an audiobook, actually, for my first reading rush, perhaps. And then I also listened to The Rose and the Dagger, actually. So yeah, this was my first audiobook that I bought on Audible. Memories, just saying. And I finished the series. Overall, Wrath and the Dawn was very hyped, and when I read it I did enjoy it, but then I realized later that I didn't actually enjoy it as much as I thought I would. It follows Shahrazad, who like decides to go in and marry the Khalid because he killed her best friend, because he kills a girl every time he marries, just like because it's a 1001 Nights retelling. And then she has like no plan to do that whatsoever, and then it's insta-love. And I just realized that I didn't enjoy that about the story. I enjoyed the magic and like the world and the setting, but like the plot just actually didn't make sense in the end. And then she like falls for him for nothing, and then the reason behind it all was annoying, and just how he didn't care. And I don't know. The second book, like there's consequences for all that, and I did actually, I think, enjoy this more. And now for some reason my brain is like, what happened in this one? They have like cute little edges though. But overall, I finished it and I enjoyed it. I read other books by a.k.a. that I enjoy too, and we keep reading her books. She has these amazing concepts, but then like the fallout is always so strange. She has this thing with her endings, because I read 2 of her other series but not the next one. I just read like The Flame in the Mist and The Beautiful, and in the endings they're all so similar because they're all just like, oh, these things are gonna happen, and then cliffhanger, and then yeah, so they have that similar vibe, but like all her stories are very different in setting and characters. So yeah, I appreciate her writing a lot, and we keep reading her books. But like overall, I was not the biggest fan of this. It was like a big thing back when it was released, 2014 area of YA. A lot of these are from that area, I think. I don't hate them anything, but like I would probably recommend her other books instead, I guess. Then we have another duology. Apparently I finished a lot of duology in this time, I think, because I had to finish series and I needed to do it with books like quickly. So like a duology is shorter than a trilogy. Either way, Daughter of the Pirate King by Celia Trilogy. I got these in an oak crate and then I bought this myself. And yeah, this one follows basically the Daughter of the Pirate King, and it was just like a fun thing where she is a pirate and then she has an old lady ship and it's a fun time. And then this one actually just like was very surprisingly so enjoyable. I had such a good time with this. Now, of course, all the details of the story has deluded me, but overall, like, I enjoyed this much more than I thought it would. I knew it was going to be like an easy, chill read, but overall they were much more enjoyable than I thought they would end up being. Glad I finished the series. Like, I had a lot of fun. If you just want a fun, chill thing with pirates and sirens, really fun banter between two love interests that didn't end up being totally idiotic and annoying, then I would recommend, like, yeah. Like, it's not like my fave, it's not the thing I would go to recommend first, but surprisingly much more enjoyable than I thought it would be, because I thought it would be much more trashier, but they just were solid, fun stories. Yay. I need to pick up Celia Trilogy's other books, because she has released 2 more since these, and I want to read her other books because they were fun. Okay, we are now actually in 2019, so only last year, and the first series I finished in 2019 was Avalanche Trilogy. I was about to say Duology. This one is by Wendy Spinell, and every book here is based on different stories. Like, this is Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland, and Oz, obviously, from the names. And overall, the first time I read this, I had a really good time. It's like steampunky Peter Pan retelling, and I actually thought it was a lot of fun. And there's this virus going on, and then we follow different kids and them surviving, and overall, I had a lot of fun with this. And then I read this one without rereading the first one, and I just didn't understand anything. I didn't stand a connection to the first book at first, and then like it came to me, and then I had this challenge thing where I was going to reread a book that I didn't like that much, so I decided to reread this actually just a year after I read it for the first time. But then I reread this one too, so I read this one and then I decided I actually didn't like it as much as the first time I read it. I read this one again and then it still didn't make sense, and I then read this one. Just no. Okay, I will explain why. It's because in between the books, we do follow different perspectives, and that's fine. Like, she shifts perspectives every single book. That's okay. I'm all for that. Let's roll. But I need to itch because I'm upset. But in every single book between every story, the author just this huge genius. She like killed off characters and said, oh no, this didn't happen, and after that, this happened instead. So all we fought for in one book is nullified in the next one, and that was the most annoying thing ever. Like, why would she do that? Like, we fought so hard in Umberland. In the beginning of Austin, it was basically, oh, all these characters died in between these books, and I was like, did we just fight through this whole thing for nothing? That was the thing that ruined the whole story for me. I feel like they're just like fun stories if you look upon it like that, and based on the story they're on, they're fun and inventive, and the virus and the fight they're doing, all that was fun. But because everything was nullified or characters changed so much in between the books, it became difficult to care about it, and therefore the series fell so flat for me. And I was so disappointed because I enjoyed the first one so much initially, and then the whole rest of the series was ruined for me. And when I look at them now, I just feel the fun inside of me. I had like the fun, the different tasks, but overall it didn't keep up. I'm gonna be sad forever actually about this. I would recommend them to maybe wait a long time between each book to read them, so that you forget what happened, so that it doesn't affect you when people have died, or other things like other details that the author changed. Yeah, do that. Or be like younger. But overall, they were enjoyable in their own way, except for the thing I just told you. And finally, the last series I'm going to talk about today is Stranger Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I'm saying it like that because it's one of my faves of all time, and I cannot deal, okay? I picked this up for the Got a Thing for, I think we were in Winter Challenge, this one, and then I read it and I was like, okay, I need to read the sequel ASAP. And luckily for me, I had it because it had been released the year before. So shiny, and I love them, okay? I love them. I don't have words, okay? It follows Laszlo Strange, who when he's a kid plays, and then the city that he wanted to go to disappears from his vocabulary, and it's like the city never existed, and he gets obsessed with it, the city of Weep and the mystery around it. And then voila, we find out in this one what happened and the consequences of this book and everything else, consequences of other things that we didn't even know there should be consequences for in this one. I cannot deal how this story turned out, how perfect it was. This is an introduction and it's just so delicious, like a cake piece, because Laini Taylor writes oh amazingly. I don't have words. But this one was a surprise because like this one has predictability in it, but here it just take all that out and just I can't deal. I cannot deal with how much I love this. I actually reread this on audiobook since then, and I need to reread this again so like I can get the complete together. But I could literally die for these books. I didn't know that they would be this great. Like I knew that people like them, but some also like didn't haul for them as much. But these, just the fantasy and the originality, I cannot deal with how much I love these. And they have since then been my faves, and I cannot deal with how much I love them, okay? I just cannot. I can use forever just raving about them. I did on my favorites for 2019 and like other videos, and I don't have words, okay? So if you want to know what my faves for all of these were, it's these, and I will recommend them until I die, okay? And now I want to reread them, and yeah, I'm like dying. That was all for this video. Apparently I used ages talking about all these series, basically reviewing all of them. I guess I could have just showed them to you, but I feel like I would want to tell you my impact, the impact the books had on me. And yay, the next part would be basically present day, like catching up for the rest of 2019, but then like the last one will be the last one I finished. I don't even know, depends how slow I am to film this. I hope you enjoyed this video. You will see me soon in the next one. If you finish any of these, tell me. Hope you enjoyed. I'm very babbly, so I'm sorry. Bye!